Hi everybody. I was sitting around watching some of our old videos and I just kind of was astounded at how much the Browns' lives, the lives of my family and I have changed over the past few years, and the huge journey that we made from our stick and bricks to full-time RVing back to the stick and bricks. And so I wanted to kind of highlight a couple of our past videos and just kind of talk about them, give you guys a little insight into what we were thinking and what we were doing at the time. Now, the first video...
This is our RV.
Go ahead.
Our big old RV.
That video is our first video ever uploaded to YouTube to Modigazzi Travels, and it is an RV tour video given by Colleen, and it was a wreck. There was a lot of things going on. The camera work was really shaky. At the time we had Pippin, Peregrine Took, our beagle, and unfortunately it was rather sad. We did adopt him to a new family, and he, just because he needed more room to roam, and we just didn't have time because of our work camping schedule, and but a cute little guy. So that was our first video, and it was just a fresh, new thing for us to do, the whole full-time RVing and work camping, and it was it was a nice little beginning to our RVing.
And ito, what are you doing? You think you're dressed? What are you doing? What do you think you're doing? Hey, say hello.
Hello. I'm holding down. I doing this and I doing this and this and this and this and this, and I doing nothing.
James and Carolina, hey. They are Wanderlust Estate, and this is Brian, hey Adventurevanman. Okay, our second video, I don't know if you can see in the clip there, is James and Carolina, and their YouTube channel is called Wanderlust Estate, and Brian from also another YouTube channel called Adventurevanman. At the time I didn't know Brian, but I was work camping at Amazon peak season, and as I was working, this is kind of a funny story, as I was working, I was walking through Amazon. I kept seeing this guy, and somewhere in the back of my mind I was going, I know this guy from somewhere. So I went home and I sort of mulled it over, and then I realized that Raquel and I, because we had done some research on full-time RVing, and we had seen this couple, which was James and Carolina, on YouTube, and we had watched them. So I went up to him, and Raquel said, I have a thick face. And in the Philippines, basically that means you'll do just about anything, and you really don't care about the repercussions too much. So I went up to him and I was like, hey, I know you, you're from YouTube, right? And he's like, yeah. And so I got to know him, invited him and Carolina over, and it was his birthday. So we got together, had some food, and he introduced me to Brian, which is Adventurevanman. And later Brian and I went on to get to know each other a little bit better, and we did day labor together in Iowa, and camped with him several times. Really, really nice guy. And so that was the next video.
Get out there, connect with people, live your big story, and make sure you do something every single day to reduce world suck. Peace, guys.
How you can make some money. Okay, so when we started this adventure, how to make money on the road. I should have called it how to make big mistakes while you're trying to make a video. This video has, in retrospect, became one of our most popular videos. At the time we were new to work camping, and in this video I kind of explained what my preconceptions were about what we were going to do work camping. and then what the reality for me so far to that point was. And so the big mistake that I made, well, at the time I was trying to be really cool. I had a new editing software, and I was trying to do some little fancy stuff and adding music, and what I did was made the music too loud, and it was very distracting from the subject matter. And even to this day, we still get a lot of views on that video, and people will complain about the music. Now, I made another video pertaining to the same subject matter, basically just so I could correct the mistake that I made, because once I uploaded it to YouTube, there was no going back and fixing that audio. And it was doing so well that if I took it down, basically it would have blasted, you know, the whole video. I wouldn't have got the views that I got, and I wouldn't have reached so many people. But even to this day, I'm always answering back, I'm really sorry about the audio. I know the music is too loud, but it was a learning experience, and to this day, I don't think I've ever made that same mistake again. But that was this video. I'm out right now in the flood zone. We were flooded. So this video that we're talking about now, we had left Amazon. We were trying to figure out where to winter, and we had gone through some options, Florida or Georgia, and our friends that we had met at Amazon were going to Louisiana. They always go to Mardi Gras, and we'd never been. So we did some research, and I called an RV park. They didn't really have an opening, but I called them and said, hey, I would love to come down and work camp for you guys, you know, and they were very nice about it. Rick and Melody are the owners and people who run the park, and it was a great experience. Beautiful park, they have a lake, they have cabins, and they are the opposite of taskmasters. Like, I had to go ask Rick for things to do, and he'd be like, hey, it looks like it's going to rain, why don't you take a couple days off? And so but I loved it. I love them. They're great people. But while we were down there, this video pertains to a flood that they had at that park, and it was a brush with near tragedy. That was our first experience with something like that, and I made a video of it, and it also became a very popular video. Now, something that I did do is, this place has that sort of backwoods country wholesomeness, like where your family is kind of like a bayou thing, you know. And a day after that flood, they had people calling and people coming in, and some hadn't camped there in a while, and they came in and they really helped clean it up. And I made a video about that, and I felt it was very heartwarming. Of course, it didn't get the views. You know, anything with a flood, people want to kind of rubberneck, like you're driving down the highway and you want to see an accident, you know. But to me, it was a great video. I think it was better than the flood video. But, you know, I mean, the flood video was impactful in a way that it shows, hey, we are blessed, you know, to be able to pull through a tragedy and pull together. And so that was that video. I think that everybody watching these videos knows that I really didn't care for Adventureland. Okay, in that video, we had left the Indian Creek Campground in Louisiana, which is where we went to Mardi Gras, and we happened to be traveling along the same path as our friends, the same friends that we were seeing in Louisiana. and we went to southern Arkansas. We went diamond hunting, and we went crystal to get crystals. It was a great thing. But we wound up wanting to work camp at Adventureland, and Adventureland is an amusement park, and I am a big kid, and I was like, yes, so I'm going to go to an amusement park, and I'm going to ride the rides, and it's going to be the most awesome thing that I've ever done, and it wasn't. Like, I don't know how to explain this. Like, it seems like it would have been a great experience, fun and lighthearted, but it was really not a positive experience for me. And my video, the next one that I had there, is my honest opinion to other full-time RVers and work campers about my experience at Adventureland. And I posted it on a work camper, a Adventureland work camper forum on Facebook, and I got a really big backlash. People were saying that, you know, I was a slob, I didn't like to follow the rules, and it was, you know, it was a lot of stuff, and I had answered a few of the comments, and Raquel just reined me in and said, hey, you know, this is just blowing up out of proportion. So it was my honest opinion, and it, you know, it was interesting. But at that time, another video that I'll just give a mention to is Raquel and I eat a 1,000-year-old egg, and it was like, it is just like vomit. It was terrible. But, you know, if you have a chance, check that one out too. Alright, so next video. Those families are really poor people. They don't have a lot of money, you know. In fact, they barely get by. Okay, in this video, Raquel and I had been talking about wanting to go back to the Philippines. Colleen hadn't been there in a few years to, you know, to see her grandparents. Walden had never met his grandparents, and I really wanted him to see them, and we wanted to go and be able to visit all of Raquel's family there. And one of the things that we had decided on, and even by ourselves, is we were going to take what money we could and help out the people that weren't so fortunate as us. And so, you know, we had started collecting candies, especially chocolate. Like, American chocolate is very popular there, and it's very expensive if you get the imported chocolate. And so, and kids love candy, so, you know, we started buying chocolate. And a friend of mine said, hey, you know, why don't you talk to your subscribers and maybe start a GoFundMe? And at the time, there was this e-begging thing going on, and I'd never ask anybody for anything. So even though we have some great patrons, like there are people that have been our patrons for a long time, and it's such a, you know, Alex is just, you know, he has been instrumental as a patron. But okay, so we did a GoFundMe, and this mentions the GoFundMe in some of our travel plans, and it went over really well. Like, you know, the patrons and the people who helped out really helped out, and probably paid for about half of the things that we gave away there. And it was great, you know. So that video started pertaining to the end of our Amazon season, which was, I think, our second season. It was our second season, and our travel plans. So that was that video. This shows how we can directly impact other people's lives. Now, in that video, we are in the Philippines, and this is the time that we have our huge get-together. We, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-laws, everybody sort of chipped in, and we had a huge meal, and basically the whole barangay, which is like a little village, came over. We gave hundreds and hundreds of pairs of shoes away to the people who needed them. We gave bikes to a lot of families, and this is not just a bike for an individual. This bike will be shared by the entire family, so we wound up giving like 10 bikes away, and it was a great experience. Now, post video, we did a lot of traveling there in the Philippines too. We wound up going to the world famous Banaue rice terraces and the Sagada, which is the hanging coffins, and did a lot of really interesting travel. And that was that video, and it was great. If you have a chance, check out some of our Philippine videos. I just want to say that this shows how we can directly impact other people's lives. You can't afford a house, you can't afford a car, you know, like there's a lot of things that... Now in that video, it was my concept, and you know, I have a lot of expat friends who talk about how cheap, or people in America who talk about how cheap it is to go live in the Philippines, which is correct if you have American money. And so living there and talking to people and seeing how the actual daily lives of the normal people in the Philippines is, it was really a concept that I, you know, it was like, hey, you know, if you're making minimum wage in the Philippines and minimum wage in America, I would like to compare that. And so what I did was I took a normal minimum wage earner in America, and I took what we would, and you know what, this is not based on every city. Los Angeles is going to be different, so I just sort of did in our area here in Ohio, or in you know something like that, and I did a minimum wage and how much you pay for the necessities of life, like your rent and your food and things like that. And I would take one of those things, like a loaf of bread, and I would say you paid this percentage of your income as a minimum wage American minimum wage earner living in America, and then I would take the same minimum wage earner in the Philippines, and I would say this is the percentage that you pay for a loaf of bread. And it was startling because it was just so much money you have to spend in the Philippines as a minimum wage earner, and it's, you know, it's just crazy that you can live like that. So that was that video, so check it out. It's also a very popular video and has gotten a lot of controversy. Some people will say, you know, I'm an idiot, and that, you know, like I don't know what I'm talking about. And then some people say, hey, that's great, I never thought of it like that. And a lot of the Filipinos come in there and go, yeah, that's absolutely true. So check it out if you can. Yagi directional 17 dBi 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi antenna. Okay, that video started with the idea of the digital campfire. Now, the digital campfire name came from Doug from Fuman's Family Road Trip, and he kind of came up with the name and I ran with it. It's basically a live feed from 2 different sources or 3 different sources of RV in the RVing community, and being able to put this out live and answer questions live. Unfortunately, it didn't come off because of my internet connection, so I decided to buy the components necessary to make sure that that didn't happen again, if possible. So I wound up buying a Yagi antenna and their ALFA adapters, like the 2 ALFA components, to be able to hook that antenna up. And in my research, I knew I wanted something like that, but in my research it was so confusing, and so many people were completely technical and didn't cater to the layman hooking this thing up, and I still had no idea how these 3 components worked in conjunction with each other. So it just took a lot of effort on my part and experimentation to be able to put these components together and go, oh, okay, this is basically like the router, and this is like your Wi-Fi, and this is like your receiver or your antenna. And I put it together, and it made sense to me then, and so I made a video about it, and that also has been, it is our most popular video to date. People have loved it. And even now, you know, people will email me or message me and try to ask me about that, and I make sure that I try to answer their questions. But it was a great video, and it really, and to me it showed how these videos actually impact people and give them a little bit more enjoyment from their lives, or does something better for them. And so that's why I kind of put it in the list. It really has been a great video. So let's move on to the next video.
We were looking for a homestead. We want some place that we can grow our own stuff, grow our own vegetables, our own fruit.
Okay, our number 10 video is just about, it's kind of the conclusion of our full-time RVing experience and us talking about, and before that we had made a couple about finding some property to be able to do homesteading. Raquel had missed being able to plant on a larger scale like a garden, and I missed having a wood shop where I could go in and actually build things out of wood. I mean, I did have some tools with me, but I mean, it's really hard to use a table saw or a circular saw at an RV park, and it really disturbs people. They're not there to hear that. And so for me, it was sort of like we had rented some issues renting our house, and we wanted to make sure that, hey, we have this house, we're paying a mortgage on it. Even though at the time we were leasing it, we just felt as if we don't need something different to be able to have a homestead, or to be able to homestead to a limited extent. We can just do it at our house, and so we had decided to come back. And so that video is just telling about what our idea was as far as coming back to our stick and bricks. Now, thanks guys for watching this video. It was basically just a labor of love. I looked at some of my old videos and I thought, hey, these are pretty cool, and it's really nice to be able to look back and see the things that you have done. Now, right now it feels as if I'm sort of dithering, like I am not, I don't have a north compass right now, you know, and my compass is sort of all over the place. And what I'm trying to do is get a solid grounding and make sure that you guys are getting better content as far, and at the time before I knew my channel was a full-time RV channel. It was about visiting places, it was about talking about RVing, things like that. And what happened is when I came back to the stick and bricks, it's more like going back into that old life. Even though our basic concept was family, you know, we just wanted to be closer as a family, and also to minimize our global footprint, to be able to live a more austere lifestyle and be able to produce things for ourselves. And so that was the case in full-time RVing, is also the case now. And so what I'm trying to do is set myself that goal. You know, where are we going, and what are we doing as a family, and what am I doing as a channel? And so right now, over the past few months, that has been sort of here and there and hit and miss, and what I'm trying to do is really get a good focus and get you guys some videos that are really interesting to me, and hopefully interesting to you, to be able to, you know, kind of get back on track. Now, in all honesty, we came here in the winter, you know, nearing winter, and so it wasn't a time when we could implement our plans for the property immediately. And so I think that with spring coming up, and we do have a fairly big trip coming up soon in the next 2 months. We have a 3-week trip. It's going to be really interesting. It's going to be great. It's going to be someplace we've never been before, and we'll talk more about that later. But also in the summer, you know, there's going to be a lot of things going on. There's going to be the chickens, and I'm going to cover some more stuff about the Philippines too. Like, I have some other material that I really want to cover as far as the Philippines goes, and we still have an RV, and so we're going to do some RVing, but I don't want to be sort of all over the place. I want you guys to understand that this is our family channel, and it pertains to the lives of our family. And so if our family is RVing, you guys are going to get an RV video. If you know, our family is homesteading, you're going to get a homesteading video. So what I would like for you guys to do right now, it's so easy. You know, I looked and it says that 90% of my views are not subscribed. You know what? It's not going to kill you. Just push the button. And you know what? I'm not going to bug you too much. Just push the button, subscribe. Just push the button right now and just show me a little love. You know, just go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment, leave a thumbs up, thumbs down, negative comment, positive comment, anything that you want. And we really appreciate you guys being here. And we will see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching our new video. Check out our old videos, leave a comment, and please subscribe. Share this on social media. We appreciate it. From your family, Modigazzi The Browns.